What is going on, Scoop fam? Welcome back to the NFT Scoop, the channel that keeps you on top of all things going on in NFT land. What's going on, Barbell? How are we doing today, man?
I am good, man. I'm good. It has been, as always, a busy week. Things are going well. We've got a lot of stuff to cover today. We've got M2 money supply and how that is affecting the markets. We've got a tattoo that sold for 100 ETH. We've got the trends, where we think things are going, weekly winners, mate. Kim Kardashian's in the news. God, it is all popping off this week.
Plenty going on. Can't wait to get stuck in. But guys, if you haven't already, give us a like, hit that little subscribe button down there. And to get the latest and all the extended content from the NFT Scoop, make sure you subscribe to the NFT Scoop newsletter up above. So without further ado, Barbell, let's kick off by having a little look at the state of the market today, shall we?
Absolutely. So I thought, look, it's not specifically NFT related here, but I think the macro economy has a huge impact on crypto and NFTs and these more risk on assets. And I think what's really interesting to note here is the federal US M2 money supply. I mean, look at that graph. In the heat of the pandemic, the Federal Reserve were printing money like you would not believe. And just check that supply. It is just, it looks like a meme stock. It looks like a meme coin. It is crazy. And now it is fallen off the absolute edge of a cliff.
Yeah, man. And just for break it down real quick, exactly what is the M2 money supply?
So M2 money supply, it's a measure of the money supply that includes cash, checking deposits, and easily convertible money floating around in the system. So during the pandemic, M2 money supply shot up, as we can see from that graph here. And when there's more liquidity in the markets, when people have more money to spend, they can buy more things. And what they chose to do in the pandemic, especially when everyone was in lockdown, they started buying stocks, they started buying crypto. And then these assets went to astronomical prices. And now, due to tightening of monetary policy, the M2 money supply has just absolutely tanked. And what's happened? We've seen the S&P 500 have its worst month being in September since February 2008. And what happens to risk on assets like crypto and NFTs? Well, of course, you know, when people are scared, people go running for the hills. The first thing that take a pullback and take a hit are those crypto, those risk on, NFT assets.
For sure, man. It swings both ways, doesn't it? In the good times, you know, obviously crypto markets, NFT markets see exponential growth on the upswing. But as we all know, everything that rises falls just as heavy. Yeah, some big moves out there today or this week even.
Yeah, definitely. And what we really need is when we actually start seeing that money supply increase, because if you actually look on if you actually look into the history of crypto, it typically tracks money supply. So obviously now we've seen a lot of tightening there. What we really need is, yes, we don't necessarily want inflation, but look, inflation pumps asset prices. Now, if we get more of an increase in money supply, typically when that starts to happen, we then should see increases in the crypto markets. And then subsequently on the back of that, in the NFT market. So I just wanted to touch on this today. It is more of macro news. But look, it's time for a decentralized future. I think it really shows how much influence the Federal Reserve really has on the stocks and shares game, and ultimately crypto assets as well.
Massively, man. Massively. Good stuff. Well, let's tuck into our scoops of the week then this week. So kicking things off. So we've had the NFT Q3 stats been revealed this week. So I mean, it's no massive surprises, to be fair, are there?
No massive surprises, man. I mean, with the up only season will come back now. Obviously, the Q3 stats have been revealed. Whereabouts are we on these? I think it's the volume is 97% down since its best performing month, which was January 2022. 97%.
Wow,
it's a lot. It is a lot. I think, and where are we at on the sentiments perspective here?
So, I mean, sentiment, we're down at 19 today.
It's stuck around this time for a while, man. I mean, look, we don't want to labor the point here, but opportunity comes in these times, in these bearish cycles, in these bearish sentiments. You know, We could retrace harder. We could. But 97% down from a volume perspective, it's quite hard to get. You'd think there wouldn't be much further to go, right? So these, yeah, it doesn't make
You'd
it
hope
doesn't
not. It doesn't look like there's much more room to go, to be fair.
exactly. So you're right in what you're saying there, Anchor. It is. We don't think there's much more room to go. But what this allows people to do in this stage, like we say time and time again, wealth is created in bear markets, not bull markets. There is opportunity out there. There's absolutely opportunity out there, both to pick up solid NFT projects, which we'll touch on later, but secondly, crypto assets as well.
For sure, man. For sure. The ball will return eventually.
It will.
Good stuff, man. So moving on, this is a really there. Let's restart. Okay, so moving on. Next up, we've got this is a pretty crazy story, hey man. I mean, the world's first Magic Ink NFT tattoo sold for 100 ETH. Now, this guy, so I was looking into him. To be honest, I'm not too hot on my tattoos, but obviously, this guy Bang Bang is one of the most, if not the most, renowned tattoo artist in the world. He's obviously he's a massive in the celebrity tattoo game. He's done Rihanna, Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, LeBron James. Super exclusive, based out of New York, and he's come up with this. Well, he's teamed up with researchers to create this new type of light sensitive magic ink, essentially. That by the looks of it allows you to change and manipulate the tattoo under the skin, which is it's incredible. I mean, it's first of its kind, and obviously it's been sold as an NFT.
What I don't get is, and I'll have to catch up with the Scoop, some of the Scoop writers here, because what I don't actually quite get is like what's being sold as the NFT.
Well, this is what I was trying to figure out, man. Like, does the purchaser of the NFT have the right to be tattooed with this one of one magic ink? That's kind of maybe.
Can we get any more further stories on that? Like,
Yeah, man. I mean, we'll have to have a further look. I mean, this is his Insta, man. It's a huge guy. 2.5 million followers. Does some really incredible work. And you know what I thought was really interesting as well, looking at his website, earlier. It said here that he was planning to actually make it policy that you had to have one of his NFTs to be tattooed by him. Really sort of making people buy into that brand and buy into his ecosystem as an artist, essentially. Which I think that's really interesting, and we've seen this before with exclusive members clubs, for example. Gary V's Flyfish Club, his NFT dining, that is, another use case for exclusivity for NFTs. I mean, Gary did, it was in New York. It's a sushi restaurant, isn't it? Have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen this.
Oh man, it's really interesting actually. So this is like a private members dining club, right? Sushi restaurant in New York, but you have to own the Flyfish NFT in order to dine there. Now, of course, you can purchase it, you can dine, and then the beauty of it is, unlike a traditional, members club, a golf club, or something, you pay your monthly dues. You can obviously just sell that right if you don't want to, if you no longer wish to participate in it. So I think it's an interesting one. Another use case that we're seeing, sort of these exclusive members clubs. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Bang Bang actually follows through with this. It doesn't look, when you click on the OpenSea link, it doesn't look like there's anything actually up and running. So maybe he's potentially had to hold off on that for now. But yeah, one to keep our eyes on.
So are we right in saying then that you have to buy this NFT? It's a one of one. And then that allows you to get tattooed with this magic ink tattoo.
I think that's it, man. I think that is it, as far as we can make out right now.
Because what I can see, it looks like the world's first rewritable and reprogrammable tattoo.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting concept, and what I love is these. Again, look, this all comes down to, if there's going to be demand, of course there's demand. If the tattoo artist Bang Bang, if he's very much in demand, if you need to buy an NFT to get tattooed by him, then he's going to sell NFTs. That comes down to supply and demand, right? Sure. But again, it's really interesting to see how I need to dive a bit more into this story, but again, it's cool. It's inexpensive. I mean, what we're talking about here, like $130,000 for this NFT. We'll do a bit more deep diving on it, but it's definitely cool what they've done.
Nice, man. So next up, Sushiswap, decentralized exchange, has got a new CEO. Hey.
Yep. Have you used Sushiswap?
You know what? I have actually, mate. I think I bought some. It's totally slipped my mind.
No, I've used it before, and look, I like it. It's obviously a competitor to Uniswap, of course. But yeah, new CEO. Where's he coming from? He's coming from Bitfinian, which is a defunct,
wasn't it?
a defunct centralized exchange. Well, yeah, it's. I think SushiSwap's. It's a good platform. I do think that it was very laggy at times when I used it, but yeah, I mean, people made serious bank. People who airdropped Sushi and people who bought Sushi in the height of the DeFi bull run. God damn. There was a lot of controversy back then as well, because I think one of the original CEOs or devs, I think he rugged the project.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. I totally missed that.
But then he I think he drained the liquidity from the SushiSwap token. Again, don't quote me on that, but yeah, there was definitely, but they really managed to turn it around. In fact, he came out and they've managed to turn it around. So fair play to the guys at Sushi. It's a great platform. It's a functioning platform. It's definitely one of the leaders, and up there with the likes of Uniswap. So, but yeah, fair play to Jared Gray.
I mean, a brave move as well, man. Obviously, there's been so much talk about, the wave of crypto CEOs resigning in the last, couple of weeks or so. So, I mean, I think, to be fair, anyone stepping up to a CEO role in a crypto company at the moment is, hats off to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? Funnily enough, talking about rug projects, next up, who are we looking at other than, of course, Celsius? I mean, fair to say it's gone from bad to awful to downright disgusting for these guys. So, I mean, obviously, filed for bankruptcy recently, and it's come out that the CEO, what was his name? I forget.
Alex Mashinsky.
Alex Machinsky took out $10 million just weeks prior to freezing customers' accounts. This is pretty rogue stuff, eh?
Mate, it is. And do you know what? I had some money in Celsius, $100.
Right.
So, it's not going to break the bank. But I feel for those who had hundreds of thousands and millions. And you know what? I remember listening to Alex Mashinsky on the Pomp podcast, and I thought, I love this guy, because do you know what Alex Mashinsky also created?
Go on.
He created voice over IP.
Huh. Real.
Voice over Internet Protocol. Yeah. So when that first came out, so I think we're talking about the technology behind Skype and all of that. He created that. So it was also like a Bitcoin bull, like at the time when I listened to him on the Pomp podcast, and I thought, I really like this guy. I really like his story of how he created voice over IP. And yeah, I was an absolute Bitcoin maxi at the time, so absolutely loved him. But yeah, this guy right now, he is not looking too favorable for the general public. I mean, taking out 10 million behind just as you freeze accounts, it looks like it's a last ditch attempt to save himself and save his own family. But look, man's got to eat, Annie.
Got to do what you got to do sometimes, eh? Rough times. Obviously, the website is totally no longer functional. But yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, look, more news is going to come out on that. We've obviously been covering the story for a while. And yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys updated. It'll be interesting to see how he gets out of this one.
For sure, man. Are we going to have another Do Kwon? Machinsky on the run, mate.
Maybe. Look, again, it was when there was a downturn in crypto that a lot of this happened. A quote from Warren Buffett: "You can see who's swimming naked when the tide pulls out." So when the liquidity is drained, you can see who's swimming naked. We've seen Do Kwon, Alex Mashinsky. You're now swimming naked. We'll be 10 million. All right.
The Naked Swimming Pool Club, mate. That should be a new feature.
I know, man. I wouldn't mind, if these guys, do Quan, Alex Mashinsky, it sounds all right to be swimming naked, to be honest.
The Swimming Naked podcast. Maybe that's our
Exactly.
next venture, mate.
Exactly.
Love it. Love it. Cool, man. So next up, we've got some exciting stuff from the NFT Scoop and some big collabs that we've got going on. What is going on here? I'm seeing the brand new Scoop himself of the NFT Scoop stitched onto this pretty sweet jacket here.
Well, yeah, I think just before we dive into that, we should probably just touch on the fact that we've got now the Scoop Man mascot, right?
Hey, there he is, our guy.
There we go. Now, for all of you listening out there, obviously we wanted to rebrand NFT Scoop and add a little bit of character, a little bit of Web3, a little bit of degen-ness to the NFT Scoop to better serve our audience. Now, the Scoop is a retired NFT degen on the fact that he minted Bored Apes, Punks, you name it. This guy is hot on the press for anything and everything that comes out in the NFT world. Luckily for us, he is with us. We have the Scoop Man on our side. And Drivers, the new project, which we have done a collaborative effort with, have actually made him into a patch and sewed him right onto that jacket. And they've also his face on the hat as well. Drivers, I think this is a really creative way in which drivers are looking to collaborate with people like ourselves and other projects. They take a little bit of your artwork and they collaborate it with themselves. So anyone, if you haven't already, get the NFT Scoop newsletter, and this is why you need to be subscribed to the NFT Scoop newsletter as well as YouTube, is because you want to get hit up with the giveaways. I really love it. Exactly. And drivers, they are looking to, if you purchase a driver's NFT, what happens is they're looking to really tell a story through this dystopian metaverse world. And then as the ecosystem and the franchise develops, your driver's NFT will be like IP in the story. So it looks like they're wanting to do like video series, comic book series out of this. So yeah, interesting project, and we love what they've done with Scoop. What are your thoughts?
Love it, man. Love it. Yeah, I mean, I think, as we're gonna come on and touch on in a minute, narrative is becoming more and more important in projects. We're seeing, people are wanting to connect emotionally with stories and progression. It's not just this one-time drop. They want to see evolution and progression throughout a project's life. So I think it's really exciting collaboration we've got going on here, and can't wait to see where Mr. Scoop takes himself.
Absolutely.
Nice, man. So next up, it is the Scoop's weekly winner. And Barbell, I've got a sneaking suspicion we actually covered this week's weekly winner quite a few months ago, hey?
Yeah, man, I think it was April to be specific. Not that I'm looking, but yeah, it was April 12th. April 12th, man, we covered the Art of Season. So this was like one of the primary projects of the Renga ecosystem. Now, what the Art of Seasons actually was your access pass into the Renga ecosystem. I think back then, they were like 0.3, 0.4 when we covered them. And obviously, if they'd taken the call, then you would have been airdropped significant value. You would have had a Renga black box. Like, these have absolutely mooned in price. And I think they are very much deserved of the weekly winner. They've got a really, really strong community, and these guys have been bubbling away for months now. So look, hats off to Renga. They're a great project, and we could run through some of the reasons why that is in a second.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's quite the return. I mean, I think they minted for 0.05, wasn't it? The Art of Seasons, at least. So
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, they've got all the makings, I think, of a future blue chip project. Will these things go higher? Absolutely. I think if we're in the heat of a bull run, we'd probably be seeing 25 ETH a piece right now. But look, they have an insanely strong community. You've got the Renga black box burning mechanism. So if you were airdropped to Renga black box, in order to reveal your black box, you have to burn it. This is becoming a bit of a gender reveal because they've got lots of different, I think it's called archetypes, I think they have, these Renga characters have. So it's becoming a bit of a gender revealing process, which we all know people love. especially in the UK and the US. We see it all over Instagram.
You know what? I've never actually been to a gender reveal.
Nah, I haven't had one, man. Well, I haven't got any kids yet, so yeah, no, I don't know if I'll be doing that. But so yeah, I mean, they've got, and again, this is one thing that's really on trend as well. So strong community. They've got an interesting burning mechanic going on as well. But you also have, they've got a strong story and narrative. Like this project and the artist behind this project is creating really strong connection with their community by painting a picture and a story through this project. So they have all the, yeah, and that is one of the Renga PFPs right there, but they've got all what people look for in a potential blue chip project. Now, yes, these guys are quite overheated at the moment. It's not something that I would absolutely bet all of your bets on, just because we have seen a massive uptick in the price. That being said, on a long-term scale, I do think these have a lot of core functionalities which you do need to be a blue chip project. That being strong art, story. They've got an interesting burning mechanism, and yeah, looking like a great project long term overall.
Sure, man. Yeah, I know. I mean, these black boxes particularly, there's been some mega sales recently. I mean, geez, 10.5 19 minutes ago, 10 19 minutes ago, 5 6. Yeah, it's definitely an appetite.
Gee.
Cool, man. So we've seen the up. What about the downside? Who has been getting absolutely wrecked? He's none other than Kim K. Looks like Kim has been fined $1.26 million over crypto endorsements that she made for Ethereum Max. When was this? She made back, was it earlier this year?
I remember it. I remember it being promoted quite heavily on her Instagram, actually.
Yeah, man. God, I bet she didn't see this one coming back to bite her.
I know. Do you know what? Like, two things here. She's been wrecked, but most people will be wrecked with 1.2 million fine. But has Kimmy K been wrecked? Really?
Mate,
I mean, let's have
peanuts.
a look at Kimmy K's net worth right now.
1.8 billion USD. So proportionally, if we look at what that fine comes out to, the average Gen Z person has a net worth of $18,000. So proportionally, it's the equivalent of being fined $12.60.
Exactly, man. So yes, everyone's talking about it, but I don't think Kimmy K really cares. Maybe she does. Would you be care if you got a 12? Yeah. Mate, you get fined more for dropping chewing gum in the street. Like if we're walking around Manchester and if you drop some chewing gum, you would get fined. I think it's up like £100. So like this feels absolutely minuscule to Kimmy K right now. But on the topic of it, I think that, you know, it opens up another topic in that like celebrities endorsing crypto and NFTs, like you have to be wary by it. These celebrities in times of bull market get paid millions of pounds, millions of dollars in order to promote these cryptos and NFTs. But half the time, if a crypto NFT is using a celebrity to endorse it or at least promote it, like I can think of like 10 projects right now, which they often turn out to be scams, rugs. You got to be wary, guys. You really do. And look, who's laughing? Probably Kimmy K, because equivalently to us normies, she's been fined about $12.
Okay, so Barber, where would we be blowing our ETH this week? Obviously, not financial advice, but a few thoughts from the scoop.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, and these are based on sort of the narratives that are coming out, the plague, I think, is we had the Ponds on the podcast back in the day before they launched. These guys have they've got amazing art. It's not for everybody, but Bored Apes wouldn't have been for everybody until they were cool. The Plague have got great artwork. They have a really strong community. They're telling a story, and the story is decentralize the internet, take down Web 2 with Web 3. These guys went absolutely viral, and they are still holding pretty strong. In fact, one of the OG frogs still sits at around 0.5 ETH, I think, and that was one of the first NFTs you could get, and then the rest are sitting around about 0.2. I'd also say Renga. We've discussed Renga already. I think they've got a number of makings for blue chip projects. That could be anything from the Art of Seasons, a Renga or Renga Black Box. And again, Ute. So this is on the Solana ecosystem. Ute is the sister and the secondary project to The Gods. Frank The Gods is absolutely known for his unapologetic style. He's very humorous. He's one of those founders that absolutely get Web3 culture and he gets Web3 marketing. From our perspective, we really feel that that The Gods, Dust Labs are the Yuga Labs and the Bored Ape Yacht Club of Solana. Bold move, bold statement, but yeah, I love these guys. They've got a really strong community and the artwork is absolutely fire. I cannot wait for Utes to reveal.
Exciting times, man. Not financial advice as always, but some potential options if you're looking to scoop up some interesting projects.
Absolutely.
Which brings us on interesting projects, interesting trends. Now we know obviously in the NFT world, trends change like the wind, don't they, Barbell? Especially in the bull market, slightly slower, obviously in the bear, but still faster than most industries. So what are we seeing out there at the moment? What's looking pretty hot at the moment?
So what we're seeing at the moment is narrative-based NFT projects, and that is, for want of a better word, story-based NFT projects. This is projects that are telling a story, and by doing that, they're captivating their community, and they are creating deep IP, intellectual property, through telling this story. If you look at some of the biggest brands in the world, some of them are the best storytellers in the world. Examples who have done it masterfully are Yuga Labs. You know, their Other Deeds last teaser video was like cinematic. I remember me and you were sitting down watching that, and it's crazy. Epic. It's absolutely epic. You know, so great storytelling is really coming into trend, and with great storytelling builds brands, it builds community, it builds IP, and then these NFTs are then worth something because you own the intellectual property within these stories, right? So story-based NFTs have been spoke about for a little bit of a while, but with Renga, and we're really seeing them come into play now.
And obviously there's a rumor as well with the partnership with 10KTF with Renga, which again massive on the narrative side, you know, artistically, visually, you know, those absolutely. I mean, not surprising to be fair with Beeple as part of your team, you'd expect that, but yeah, it's really
10KTF, they're a great organization. They are, again, masterful storytellers, super fired up community. You get to, it's like very much an interactive story experience. So you're battling to fight the Kaiju. That's rumored to be partnered with Renga. I haven't seen anything concrete about it yet, but I've seen it around on Twitter. Not sure if it is literally a rumor, but who knows? It could be true. So yeah, story-based NFTs are definitely hot right now.
Interest, man. Well, if we hear anything, we'll be sure to be reporting on it on the scoop. And I mean, secondly, apart from obviously narrative-based NFTs, you know, something that we're seeing at the moment as well is, you know, around project founders who really get Web3 culture. I mean, I think, you know, you'll expand on this, Barbell, but the importance of, you know, meme being message, you know, is often overlooked in the space. And I think, you know, as we've mentioned before, is one of the reasons that we think a lot of these celebrity projects are, you know, they're flopping left, right, and center because, you know, the celebrity themselves or the team that are actually implementing them don't quite get the culture and the significance and the importance of delivering on that for a successful project.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you know, these founders crop up and they are rare breed, but ones that, you know, if we're trying to give some advice here on how to source and look for these projects, here's some examples. So like Dupont's Leader of the Plague, he used memes like No Tomorrow when they were launching the Plague. He captivated an army of frogs, which is essentially the community, to tweet, get these posts around their project, cycling on Twitter. So he's a classic example. You also have Voltura. Now, Voltura and Psychedelics Anonymous, they had a great time in the bull run. I think they've struggled a little bit now because of the complexities of their project. So, you know, especially for newcomers, it's quite difficult for new people to find their project and then buy into them. However, you know, Voltura can start a Twitter Spaces and 300 to 400 people would be there in an instant, in a heartbeat. So he's really much captivated his community. He's known for his mysteriousness, cryptic style. And then finally, over to the Solana ecosystem, Frank the Gods, unapologetic, humorous, really understands Web3 culture, and single-handedly, he's made Solana cool. So, or Solana NFTs cool, should I say. So these are some examples you can look at of, and go on, follow these guys on Twitter. Look at the type of stuff that they put out, especially when they were launching their projects. So, you can use Twitter and scroll back to when these projects launch, and you can see the type of messaging, the type of communication that they put out on Twitter, and try and look for other founders who are doing similar things. Because typically, when the founders get Web3 culture, when they've got a strong following, that is going to prop up a project, and that is going to serve it well into the future. So that's something that I'd say we're definitely seeing right now.
For sure, man. And finally, not last but not least, obviously, music, film, and sport industries, super hot, super on trend. There's plenty of application.
Absolutely. I think we've mentioned this a number of times. The entertainment industry will get disrupted via Web3 and NFTs. Now, it's quite difficult to pinpoint exactly how somebody can benefit from this, but we've listed a link there, and that is under the, I think the Dopa, there's a company called Dopa that have a music NFT directory, which shows you the projects, the exchanges, the launch pads. Find a way that you can benefit from this, because it is going to be a industry which gets disrupted. So yeah, this is Dopa, loading up now. I think we're actually due to get the founder on the podcast. I need to catch up with him. But as you can see here, you can select your category and it will show you all the different projects which are supporting Web3 and the music industry. Look, it might not necessarily be a PFP project here. It might be, if companies on the stock exchange are looking to disrupt music or the entertainment industry via Web3, is it an opportunity there? Is there tokens attached to these protocols which are launching new artists in Web3? There's different opportunities there. So think outside the box in terms of looking to engage with this ecosystem. You don't always have to just necessarily buy a PFP or an NFT.
Okay, and next up, we have got real-world utility-based NFT projects, and we're not talking about, just whitelists and mints. We're talking about real applications where the Web3 alternative is genuinely better, more efficient than its Web2 counterpart. What's some examples of this, Barbell?
Yeah, so I think there is a load of different industries which are ripe for a 10x improvement. Now, often we say like Web3 will take over Web2 when literally the product or service feels 10 times better than the Web2 counterpart. Like say, so we've got property, real estate. Now, we all know how much of a headache property and real estate is. I personally was about to buy a property recently, right? And I've just pulled out because of the current market dynamic. However, that being said, I'm speaking to a solicitor, I'm speaking to the seller, I'm speaking to the agent, the mortgage broker, all of this stuff. And how easy would it be if a property, the ownership of the property and the deeds to the property and the history of that property was all under an NFT? And when you purchase that, the sale was done via a smart contract and the NFT went into somebody else's wallet. Like that would save so much bureaucracy. I know that real estate and property is a massive, massive industry with so much, red tape and legalities behind it. But for sure, property has to be improved and the sales of property have to improve by NFTs.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one. I think a lot of time people are screaming out for using FTs or Web3 technology, but if it doesn't actually improve the process that you're trying to achieve or doesn't advance you towards that goal quicker, I mean, there's no point really.
Absolutely. But yeah, I just think I really feel like this is going to be a big wave. There's tons of legality behind it, of course, because hacks. What if someone hacks your house and then do you know what I mean? And then it's crazy, like so. But I do think that it is coming. I do think it is coming.
Got to store your house on a cold wallet, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And I honestly, we'll laugh about it now, but like that, I guarantee that's going to happen. It is.
For sure, man. How long until we're reporting on the first property stolen as an NFT?
Yeah. I reckon maybe within genuinely 2 years, we will have mentioned that.
I wouldn't be surprised, mate. Wouldn't be surprised.
I think
But
so.
yeah, I mean, loads of other real world utilities. Obviously, we've spoken to the guys at EduNFT'S recently. Some really interesting stuff that they're doing in terms of actually taking online education. And there's other people doing this as well. In terms of having education and courses. I mean, you could see university degrees being bought and sold potentially as NFTs. Access to rights to access education and classes. There's
That's a
yeah.
really interesting one, like university style. Like I
Mm.
never even thought of that. So yeah, the whole
I
just
mean,
for
that
go on.
that universe, I mean, that feels like something that needs some disruption. I mean, you look at the extortionate costs that we've got, and I mean, it's obviously not changed for so long because it works for a certain set of people. But from a public standpoint and from a student standpoint, it's not sustainable, surely, to be starting a life with 50, 60,000 pounds worth of debt just for a degree in something that you may not necessarily need.
Mm.
I don't know, man. There feels like there's got to be a more efficient, a better solution to providing education to the masses without, indebting yourself so heavily at the beginning of your life.
Definitely. No, I couldn't, I couldn't agree more. It's really interesting that you mentioned universities because I hadn't even thought about that as an application. But yeah, you're absolutely bang on, absolutely right. Absolutely. But, a bit of a plug. I know you already mentioned them, but EduNFT'S, we will include them in the description below. EduNFT'S is doing something really, really interesting where essentially they're having courses online. So these could be sales courses, these could be graphic design courses, whatever course. They've got some really, really great trainers. Now, these courses are NFTs, but rather than paying for them, and then once you've actually used that course, and you've paid for it and you can no longer redeem any value or monetary value from it, you can then sell this on to somebody else once you've gained that knowledge. So super interesting.
Okay, so next up in utilities, land and ad space. This is an interesting one with regards to sort of augmented reality protocols. What are your thoughts on that, Barbell?
Yeah, so this I think is massive. Now, I know the viewers out there might think that I'm saying that everything single one of these is massive. However, these are the industries we do think are ripe and big for disruption. Imagine this. There's augmented reality protocols out there. Superworld is one of them. Now, what Superworld does is it creates a digital map of the entire planet. So you can go on Superworld now and you can have a look and it creates a whole map of the planet. Now, you can purchase ad space, or should I say land, as hexagons within Superworld. Okay, so you've purchased this as an NFT. Okay, now let's just say that Superworld becomes the dominant augmented reality platform that people use. What's happening at the moment in Superworld is you've got space outside stadiums, you've got you've got Times Square bought up, you've got Wimbledon, like all of Centre Court, everything has already been bought up. You cannot find a place on Superworld now which has high footfall and traffic, human physical traffic moving through, that hasn't been bought up. Because guess what? When somebody's walking to look at the New York Jets, or when somebody's walking up to Wimbledon, and we can use augmented reality, we've got glasses on. Imagine you've got strawberries and cream at Wimbledon being advertised. You've got Bud Light being advertised. Like, I can see it happening already. So like, this is a big thing that I think is gonna take place.
What's the draw to Superworld, man? Like, I'm not too familiar with them. I mean, why would somebody enter the Superworld? I mean, metaverse, for a want of a better word.
No, so this is different. So forget metaverse. This is augmented reality. So
Right.
imagine, so it would take Superworld to be the most used platform by people and businesses, right? So let's say you're walking around in real life. Let's say that we have the ability to view augmented reality. So that is projections, that is 3D visuals in real life.
I see. Right.
Imagine you're walking up to a gig, or you're walking up to Manchester United playing football. You're looking up at the stadium and you're getting adverts that are coming out of the stadium. Do you not think that like Bud Light, Coca-Cola are going to want that ad space?
100%. Of course, man. Of course.
Does that make sense now?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. So we're talking at the point once we've integrated with glasses, with contacts, etc. It's
Exactly.
yeah. It's well, I mean, it's for the people controlling these advertising spaces. I mean, it's I mean, it's double bubble. You've got real world, then you've suddenly got, got this AR space as well. It's
no, it makes a lot of sense. And finally, I think digital twins. So if you're looking at, and look, I don't know how we can engage with this industry or you benefit from it at this stage, but digital twins in the metaverse. So let's think of a digital copy of your Rolex watch, which is official. So you can wear it in real life and have it official in the metaverse on your avatar. So that is digital twins of real world assets. So look, these are all things at the moment which aren't just like listed on OpenSea, or they're more protocols in which, how do you bet big on the protocol? Well, they may have tokens. There may be companies coming out that you can buy stocks in, where this space is moving. So that you've got to really think outside the box. But these are some of the things which I really think we're going to see grow in a massive way from an NFT standpoint.
So not to forget, obviously, ticketing we've spoken about, which is already evolving massively. The likes of the Super Bowl, obviously issuing NFT tickets. It's a lot of movement in the space.
But I think that wraps us up for the week. Class.
Good stuff, man. Brilliant. Great episode. We covered a lot of ground today.
Absolutely, man. It's always been a pleasure. My favorite time of the week, Anchor, when we do these. So yeah, thanks again for your time too.
Always, mate, always. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. It's been the NFT Scoop here, as always, on Tuesdays and Fridays. If you haven't already, give us a like, hit that little subscribe bell, and of course, sign up to the NFT Scoop newsletter. Fresh look, rebranded, get familiar with the Scoop himself. He'll keep you on track. Until next time.
See you guys.
Wanna hear you go.